Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond the Realms. We are on the road today going to see Resident Evil Retribution in IMAX 3D. Now, I've actually heard the movie is halfway decent for what it is. I mean, I guess, 5 movies in, if you don't know what to expect from a Resident Evil movie, then, really probably aren't a fan or whatever. These movies, they are what they are. They're, it's mindless, eye candy entertainment. I mean, they're not deep. They're not, anything that's gonna, blow you away. They're just entertaining movies is how I look at them. I enjoy them. It's, the first one I liked quite a bit. I thought it was pretty cool. And then the second one I thought was so-so, and I didn't even bother watching the third one. I think it was Apocalypse or whatever. But actually, I'm probably in the minority of saying this, but my favorite one was actually the last one, Afterlife. That actually got me interested in the franchise again. So, I'm interested in seeing what they do with this. I'm sure it'll be entertaining. The trailer looks really cool. I mean, it's definitely going to be a stylized film, no question. But if the 3D is anything like the last film, we're in for a treat, because Afterlife is definitely some of the best 3D I've seen. So, this is going to be cool because, we're also seeing it in IMAX. So, I guess that's it for now, guys. I will fill you in on how it is here in just a minute. Later. Alright guys, so we just got done seeing the movie, and as expected, fans of the movie are probably going to be entertained by this. People who don't like them, it's not going to win any new fans, that's for sure. But as far as like with the story, and how it goes, Alice finds herself captured by Umbrella once again, and she has to escape, but it's much more complex and harder for her to do than it was in the first movie, because this does like really harken back to the first film in that aspect, and also in some of the characters. Michelle Rodriguez shows up in this again, and I was really wondering how they were going to pull that off, but they explain all of that, and some of the other characters, some of the soldiers and stuff are in it from the first film. But like I said, it's very complex, and how she escapes and where she's at is really different. I thought it was really cool how they explained all of that, and where this version of Umbrella is at was really cool, I thought. But it's a Resident Evil movie, so it's not a deep story. It relies much more on action and being stylized, just like the other films are. But with that said, I think that they really stepped it up a notch in the action department, and and just the awesome action scenes in this. I mean, there's some amazing stuff, and I mean it stretches the bounds of reality without a doubt, but it's a video game movie, so it should. Like the start of the movie all is playing in reverse, and it goes on for like a couple minutes like that. It plays this whole entire action sequence in reverse. It's really cool how it happens, and there's some flashback scenes, there's some dream scenes, there's just some really trippy stuff. It's a really awesome intro to the movie. Like the first 10-15 minutes of the film it's really wild how they did it. I thought it was an excellent start to the film. Mila Jovovich, she does really good. She's she could do this character in her sleep now, but she does a great job. And there's some really cool zombie action in this. The zombies are more vicious and violent than ever probably in this, and they were really cool. There's some cool creature stuff going on. But guys, it's just a fun action film. It's not anything deep, like I said, and fans of this series is going to really enjoy it, I think. I think that it's up there with one of the best ones. I mean, like I said, the last one, Afterlife, was my favorite, and you know, I don't know, it's hard to say just seeing it one time, but this was up there with that. I would say it's at least as good as the last one. And you know, they're commercialing this as being the final one, and of course they leave it open for another sequel. You know, that's a given, because as long as these movies are making money, I'm sure they're going to keep making them. And why not? You know, I mean, it's just fun entertainment. You know, I enjoyed it. And you know, the movie, this one, more so than any of the other entries, I think, really plays like a video game. Like, you know, there's some big, huge action sequences and a lot of stuff going on, no dialogue, then it kind of stops, and it gets, you know, like where exposition scenes where they're explaining stuff, and then it goes back into action, and it's really cool because it really does flow like a video game. And then also some of the aspects with the Umbrella Corporation, which, you know, I'm not going to say, so I won't spoil it, but some of the aspects of the Umbrella Corporation, you know, really adds to that video game style. So guys, you know, I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10, you know, out of just sheer entertainment value. It's fun. It's just, you know, you have fun with this film. There's no doubt you can't have fun with this film. You know, you know what you're going to get with a Resident Evil film, and if you like these films, check it out, because I was impressed. I'm sure you will be too. So I appreciate you guys watching. You all have a good one. Later.